Alright guys, so let's talk about some of the good features and the bad features. So first of all, this 14-inch is really way more powerful than the 13-inch MacBook Pro. I personally have the 10-core version with the 1TB SSD, and this display, which Apple is calling the Liquid Retina XDR display, can actually have a resolution of 3024 by 1964. That's a pretty impressive number here. It's almost as good as 4K. It also has 254 pixels per inch with a really nice brightness ratio of 1000 nits, and it has a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. So you're going to get a lot of bang for just this display. Unfortunately, of course, it's not touchscreen. And then you can also adjust some of the scaling with the font size. So if you wanted to adjust it to a easier to read resolution, you can do that. Now there is an app called Easy Res, which you can download, and what that provides you is with a dynamic on the fly switching of the display. So you can switch it from what Apple is calling Pro Motion technology, which Samsung has it on their phones already, which is basically 120 Hz refresh. So the cool thing is that this display is going to figure out what kind of resolution you're going to need depending on your settings. But when you're scrolling, you're not going to see those. You're going to see a lot super smooth scrolling. And then of course it has a traditional 60 Hz. Now the most impressive thing about this display at 3024 resolution is that you can fit a huge desktop. Now the battery will throttle because it'll go down to 60 Hz when you're not using it. So we're talking about a dynamic refresh rate here. It's got the True Tone technology that Apple is used to. The only downside with this laptop is, number one, you've got the HDMI 2.0 port on the side. So you do have a port, but it's just HDMI 2.0. The other downside is that the brick that it comes with is pretty heavy for a 96 watt power adapter. So I don't know if there was a better way to make it lighter. Overall, the laptop comes in a little bit heavier than my Comfort, so it isn't not an Ultrabook, but it is a pretty good contender. Now, if I'm running multiple apps, so I'm running PowerPoint, Final Cut, and iMovie, just as a sample, I can edit pretty fast. I can render movies fairly fast because it's got a really good CPU with the 10 cores. So we'll go ahead and export this clip, which is a 3-minute clip here. And while it's doing that, it's still switch between different apps. So it's pretty impressive. I can go to PowerPoint, I can go to GarageBand. These are all open, so I'm not limited while the CPU is working. The other thing that's pretty nice about this laptop is that, I've never heard of the fan throttle. So because of the dynamic way that it's bringing air in and releasing it, I haven't heard the fan throttle at all. So it's got really good battery management, which is what you're paying for. So besides the speed, the resolution, and the bringing back of ports, you can tell that this is going to be a pretty good contender. So even though it's a end of 2021 model, I think that the next MacBook Air is going to probably have the chip, but I predict it's going to be missing some ports. I think they're still going to go with the USB-C. So this is a laptop that you're going to leave plugged into your desktop, running your monitors, but it's also got enough ports that you're not going to need a third-party external accessory. Anyways guys, that's my review of the MacBook Pro M1 14-inch. This is totally a different laptop than the 13-inch. Again, the upsides is that you've got a beautiful display, you've got a really powerful M1 processor. The downside is you've got HDMI 2.0, you've still got that notch there, and quite frankly, I think that the laptop brick is a little bit large, even though it is the MagSafe. So that's my review. I will see you in the future.